I'm Sarah Russell.
I'm JQ Walker.
I'm Hind, and we are
the Neurodivergent Report, a research-based podcast by and for neurodivergent brains.
In each episode, we'll explore topics relating to neurodiversity and coping strategies by reviewing the literature and discussing current topics.
We will also have interview episodes where we sit down with experts in the field and listeners like you, with the hope that together we can all learn to heal in community.
However you are able to engage, thank you for being here. I remembered that your name is Lucy, and I love Lucy. Okay, but who are you? You are an art therapist. You are based in Melbourne, Australia. You work at the intersection of creativity, neurodivergence, and healing. And I love that. But Lucy,
Heck yeah.
thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for having me. This is very, very cool. I love it. I think finding out and being more part of conversations around neurodivergence, especially around creativity and as much as this is a podcast, non-speaking wellness and relation and that kind of stuff.
I mean, you just mean like not psychotherapy, right?
Yeah, like not word-based. Yeah. And not explicit, like not being like, I want you to not do that behavior anymore. So I'm going to tell you to do this exercise and then you will stop doing that behavior. Like not that kind of thing, because I don't think that's very helpful.
Yeah, that doesn't always work.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I guess I'm really, I don't think we have enough awareness no, that's not the right word. I don't think we don't give enough power and like honoring to what what creativity, what relationship and relational spaces mean to well-being. And I think that's gotten worse as like with capitalism, like individualized lives, like we're all very separate, we're all very special humans.
So fast.
Yeah, and we don't necessarily place that value anymore. And it hurts. And I tried that way. I tried getting better that way, like when I was unwell, and it didn't work. And what did work was like slowing down and art and creative expression. And I will absolutely die on that hill that is needed in all well-being spaces. Yeah.
Yes.
That's absolutely my jam.
I love that. Absolutely agree. I have gotten involved recently in craftivism nonprofit. Yes. So we're fiber arts based in the US right now, but craftivism for anyone listening is like a mesh between activism with crafting, obviously, as our means. And it's really just a time to bring everyone together, in that community care kind of way, and slowing down and doing something regulating, maybe listening to music and like actually knitting to tempo. That's meditative. That's rhythmic stimming.
Yeah. We really don't know how, like, I don't think we fully comprehend how fast our lives are and how that is not, I think the majority of us, that is too fast. Like, it blows my mind that the systems we engage in expect us to be able to process that quickly, and to do life that quickly. I don't think that's, that's not a majority thing, I don't think. And also with like handcrafts in particular, totally under-researched I have so many thoughts about what that provides for you psychologically and in an embodied way. Because when I was really unwell, so I was really unwell with mental illness and like in and out of hospital, and I was very much stuck in the medical model.
Was that?
This was 2010 to
Mhm,
2020-ish. And
mhm.
I was probably ages like 20 to 30.
Yeah.
Um, but it was like years of like every medication, everything. Um, and it was bad. It was a disaster.
Beyond just depressive symptoms, what were you presenting with?
I mean, I had like chronic suicidality, shocking anxiety, couldn't function. I couldn't function daily, really. A lot of time I became so, and probably one of the biggest parts as well was the like intense self-hatred, which stopped me from being able to engage in any therapy because I didn't think I was worth it. It's very hard to engage in
Mm,
anything related to well-being when you don't think you deserve that. Like you're not going to take it in. So someone can try all the methods. And I did. I tried everything. And nothing could get through because my worth was not there. And when I sort of realized I wasn't going, I've had a few realizations. One was that I didn't want to die because I couldn't do that to my family. Like that was kind of something I'd landed on. And,
me
but
too.
that didn't take away the feeling, like
The self-hatred
deciding, yeah, and just the
or the
depression, like,
yearning for it to be over.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. It didn't take that away, even though I decided, okay, I'm not going to do that. But so what do I do? And my next thought was just become invisible. Like, if I can't leave, I will leave without leaving.
Yeah.
And that was fueled by the self hatred as well.
Uh-huh. That's so interesting. Um, for a lot of reasons, but I just want to stop you and make sure you know that we have a connection. I don't know if it's super obvious, but I am a chronically depressed person. And I
It's
have
not
been.
actually, but
That's good.
it's interesting to know.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I pretty much ever since puberty started, which for me, I was like 12, 13. It was like 2002.
Yeah.
Um, the world was in a weird place also, so who knows? And so I feel like, and I don't say this to sound like, look at me, but I just think that I've always been too smart
Yeah.
to be happy.
I think, well, that there's
Because
something
I'm
about
like, why don't you
realism.
all see this?
Yeah, they say, yeah, there's something about kind of realism or like not being able to be super optimistic where there is just a like bit of a pervasive depression because that,
When
yeah,
all
there's,
you've seen is
mm-hmm,
collapse, failure, collapse. Just
yeah.
try harder, bootstraps ideology.
And it
Yeah,
doesn't, and you see
absolutely.
that that doesn't work. And once you've seen that, it's very hard to kind of step out of that. I totally agree.
Yeah. And also some neurodivergents have that pattern recognition where
Yes.
it's like watching a horror movie where you know what's going to happen, but
Mm-hmm.
nobody else does.
Yeah. Yeah, or like nobody knows, or people know and they can't do anything, or people are like too tired. Like people,
Hmm.
like I think essentially we are a selfish population, as in we need to be to survive. But it just means that we're so self-motivated that it is
We're
hard
all
to.
operating in survival mode, and I
Mm,
think that helps us have compassion for it, but also, yeah, I mean, what can we do about that? I
exactly.
think
Yes,
I
we
think it is
can't.
the society right now.
Okay.
Okay, so back to
Um.
Lucy.
Yes.
We were talking about your childhood and sort of like the super misdiagnosis experience that you had,
Yes.
and many of us females at birth have.
Absolutely. I think as well, you mentioned like your depression kind of hitting around puberty, and I
Yeah.
experienced similar. And then what actually tipped it into like clinically needing help was the pill. Yeah.
Wow.
Twice,
That
twice it
wasn't
happened. Yeah. It was disastrous. Um,
I wasn't
yeah.
allowed to take that when I was a teenager. Maybe, I don't know. By the time I was like 18, 19, I didn't
That's
have
when I took
that.
it.
Oh,
Yeah, so I wasn't, like, I feel like puberty was confusion, like, sort of like 12 to 18 was confusion and naive trying. I was still in this, like, trying and, like, not really understanding. And then when I hit, like, 19, 20 and had a really committed partner, I went on the pill. And that's kind of when everything fell apart. And then it happened again later. Um, and that really, really, I know when I'm not on the pill as well.
destabilizing.
Yeah, I have PMDD, like, very intensely,
Yeah.
which is now managed by another pill, wildly. Zoli has been life-changing.
What
It's
is that?
it's a natural estrogen contraceptive pill, and it's one of the only
That wasn't
ones.
what
I
I
think
was
there's
expecting you to say. I
I
thought you were
know.
gonna tell me it was an SSRI.
No, no. PMDD for me, that Zoli was life-changing. It took 6 months to work, but it was life-changing. Yeah, yeah.
All right.
But with
Worth
all
it
the,
though,
like,
worth it though.
yeah, it's worth it. I'm still on it, and it's great.
Now you're diagnosed as a, I'm sorry, I'm just gonna keep jumping ahead
Mm,
because
mhm.
just because.
No, you're good.
So now you're diagnosed as an autistic person.
Yes, yeah, I did my assessment
And did they give you
and
like a comorbid something?
um, yes and no. I already had, like, my depression and anxiety diagnoses, like, they were pretty clear. I also did
Okay.
get officially in remission of borderline. That was a classic in remission from a psychiatrist.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then, so
So
yeah, it's like major depressive disorder with autism and suspected ADHD, but I haven't done a proper assessment for ADHD. So yeah,
yeah, the
but
research on ADHD and autism is so much so that like you can even have some of the symptoms and not qualify for the full diagnosis. So it's sort of like
who knows? Yeah,
welcome.
yeah,
Welcome to the executive dysfunction and emotional
yeah.
dysregulation. Sorry about your luck. Um
Literally, it's like I definitely, that executive dysfunction is that's there. But it, like, even if I now reflect, if I'd said to any of my psychiatrists who I saw, like, who saw me so much when I was in hospital, none of them even now would say, oh yeah, autism. Like, they would absolutely be like, no, you can make eye contact, you're good at talking to people.
yeah,
Hands down. That's still said to me now.
same.
Um, yeah. But
I don't have a diagnosis, but it doesn't matter.
no, no. Well, once you can recognize the patterns, and I think as well, before I got diagnosed, I thought, well, if I was diagnosed, what the next step is kind of putting in place some of the supports, like around sensory stuff and around, like,
Interesting. How would you start supporting your sensory stuff?
so it was like, let's actually honor let's be curious about your sensory experiences. So
Interoception.
instead of assuming I was a terrible human, and there was no space between a sensory dissonant experience and I'm terrible. It was just, they were glued together. So then it became about separating that and going, wait, what is the sensory dissonance I'm experiencing? What is my anxiety about right now? What is my overwhelm about? And so I started to notice different things, sound and crowds. I always have known that I'm bad at that, but it was just, I'm bad at that. It wasn't why. So I stopped going into like, I stopped doing things that involved lots of large groups of people. I don't really go out to loud restaurants. I let myself sway when I stand. That was a big one. I sway side to side when I stand, and I have always stopped myself from doing it. And I was like, no, I'm just going to let myself do it. Um,
Because
honoring.
were you afraid of like people
Oh,
noticing or
yes, you're not allowed to do that. That was my
yeah.
fixation with
Uh,
disappearing, was being appropriate at all times. So don't be socially. I learned all the social rules. I
Don't
knew the
stick out.
social rules. Don't stick out. Don't sway. Make yourself small. Talk an appropriate amount. Don't be silent because that stands out. All those things. Yeah, it was flaw.
Hyper aware.
Hyper aware. The hyper awareness is ridiculous. And
When I first met
oh,
my husband, he had hashtag hyper aware stickered on his fridge, and apparently there was some joke about his roommate not being very aware.
oh bless. Oh, I
It's a
love
joke.
that. Maybe just be more aware. Yeah,
Yeah, it's good reminders. We always need those.
yeah, and
Whoops.
yeah, that finding that doing those things and noticing it helped before getting a diagnosis, noticing that if I was an autistic person, what would my adaptation be right now? What would my approach be? And
Mhm.
that stuff did help. Um,
Yeah.
but before that, even thinking about having autism or what that was, it was studying art therapy and making art. And also, I'm very curious. I spent probably a good year and a half to 2 years doing nothing but watching TV on my laptop with my dog. And I'm really curious. I was very aware that that was not helpful at the time, but I didn't care.
Mhm.
But I am curious about the repair to my nervous system that potentially happened during that time.
Let's talk about that. Yeah, what were you healing from,
I
and
don't
why do you
know.
think that? Oh.
I think I was. I mean, I don't. Yeah, I don't
Well,
have
okay,
heaps
that's
of
not the
words.
right question anyway, but um the better question is yeah, how do you do that? Just by sitting.
Yeah,
We feel like
I
rest
think.
can't do anything.
Yeah, I think there was part of it that had because I was partly resigned to my sort of decision of oh well, I'll disappear. And it doesn't matter what I do in my downtime. And that was a good way of taking up time. Can I watch TV now? Not really. My brain can't focus on it. But I could then. Oh, I could. I would carry my laptop around with me in the house, and I was watching something 24/7. And there is something about. I think I was subconsciously healing from years of psychiatric systems and how the weirdness of those spaces and the hyper stimulation of people's presence maybe and then also the maybe just turning my brain off a bit maybe, but I can't
Yeah.
when I think about wellness I can't disregard that time. I actually do think that did play a part in, and it took years. It was slow. It was a very slow process, but it was life changing.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think that is really sad. Um, when we spend a lot of time trying to fix something and then finding out that oh, there's always going to be a little bit of
Mm,
dysregulation. I'm experiencing that with my thyroid, for example. Um, Nobody ever talks about what it's like actually being impatient, and I didn't spend that long, maybe a week once. And I feel like that's super privileged, even to be able to have accessed that, but
same.
also to have done it for such a short amount of time and
Hmm.
then been yep, I never need this again.
Yeah,
Scared straight. Check.
yeah,
Uh
yeah. It's I'm the same. My experience of hospitals was predominantly private clinics, and that's a very privileged place to be. Um, but it's still a disaster. It's still a revolving door of going in and out. Oh, Lord. It's messy. I think, especially here in Australia.
Yeah, I think institutions like that are just inherently dehumanizing and demoralizing, and we just accept that
Yeah,
level
yeah,
of, you know,
yeah, yeah.
anyway. Let's see.
Yeah.
We were talking about institutions. We were talking about the lack of neurodivergent awareness, obviously, because the research has been catching up. Um, I think, and
Oh,
so we're tying
craft.
back to, yeah, what you
That's what I wanted to
actually,
tie to. Yes,
yeah,
you're doing your
perfect.
craft because so I wanted to disappear. That was my answer. And I was watching TV and I'd moved in with some friends. I was doing like DBT and I was doing little bits here and there. Um,
Okay. DBT, you said?
dialectic, yeah, dialectical behavior therapy. Yeah. So I was doing
Okay.
that. And that was both helpful and harmful at the same time. But I started embroidery um, on a whim with my friend, and she stopped and went back to like drawing, which is her primary drawing and illustrating. But I
Mm-hmm.
kept going. And there was something so life changing about embroidery because I didn't want to, at the time, I was all about not making any marks and only being reactionary. And making art was inherently action based. You are physically making a stitch, you are physically altering something,
Mm-hmm.
and that's not a reaction to something. You're doing it on your own. And it was like that was the first.
Goal-oriented behavior.
Yeah, but even pre-goal with like embroidery where I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't have a sense of an end product, but it was like sneaking goals in, I guess. Like the goal is to make marks and to have action, but I couldn't be too aware of that otherwise I would stop. So I had to sneak attack the goals. But
Yeah.
I did embroidery for over a year. I did it probably for 3 or 4 years, and I still would do it if I had time. It's just a very, very slow art form.
Yeah.
And it was so life-changing, and it was so slow and silent. Like, just inherently hours of silence or, like, hours of moving your hands and being with embroidery materials and not talking, not studying, not stretching my brain beyond the difficulty of like the sort of stitches I was doing, going through goal processes with that. Like, can I do this design? Can I make this work? How can I make this work? Problem solving. How can I solve this problem? And in this way that is so there is no risk because no one knows. I haven't told anyone about it. Like, if I stuff it up, I can undo it. Like, I experienced so many process-based things within embroidery that were too scary and too hard to do explicitly with people and with
Mm.
words. And I think that that is so key to finding a space where I could go, oh, maybe I'm not the worst human ever. Maybe actually, like, I'm a human and I deserve to be validated just as much as everyone else. And everyone deserves to be validated, and everyone deserves their people to assume they are trying their best. Like, literally everyone.
Assume
Yeah.
positive intent. We learn that
Yeah.
in the parenting workshops. It would be wonderful if the adults could just start extending it to each other, because some of us are still learning.
Yeah. Assume literally. Why would we not? Life is easier and there is more growth and less stuck with assuming positive intent. Yeah, that was really
Yeah.
life-changing. So craft and handwork in particular, and like, because it's slow. You cannot do handcraft fast. There are things about it that remain unaffected or less affected by our fast world. And that I'm obsessed with that.
It's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
With the yarn, I'm constantly having to untangle things,
Mm-hmm.
and the faster I try, the harder it is. So really, it benefits to just slow down and look at it before I just start pulling at it. And I think
Oh
that's
my
a
God,
really good metaphor
so
for what you
true.
were just talking about.
The amount of times I would get a knot with thread, and it ruins it to cut it. You really
I
it
know.
causes more problems if you cut it. And so I learned, yeah, like how to untangle those knots. And the more
Mhm.
frustrated I
That's such
got,
fine motor work.
and the worse, yeah, the more frustrated and like angry I got, the harder it was to untangle, the more I just focused on the knots and like going, how can I puzzle this out? The more I was able to undo it,
Hmm.
and that you cannot pull tight. You can't, just trying to pull it never works. um,
Hmm.
Untangling yarn and knots I still love how much it tells you about how you're feeling. Like, it's very informative.
Yeah, my friend is going through a divorce. Well, actually, she just officially got divorced, so yay, but
Yay!
um felting has
Yes.
been her love.
Dry
It's
felting or
just
wet
very
felting?
helpful to
Dry felting.
dry. Yeah, she's just
Yeah.
been going at it. She made me all sorts of lovely things. I've got these little pebbles here.
Oh my gosh.
She's
Oh, that's
colored. Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, stabbing things. Great. But the texture as well. Yeah, you're feeling that whole time. You're handling the texture of the felt and you're feeling it go from soft to solid, which is such a cool thing as well. Um, oh, yeah. And the risk of
And
stabbing yourself, it really hurts when you do.
it does.
It's quite
It
a
does.
shock.
Like, yeah.
But maybe that's
Yeah.
also part of it.
Even that's a release.
Well,
To
then you
move
like,
out.
yeah, to also go, oh, I was starting to lose focus. And of course that happened. Or, yeah, like I'm
Interesting.
getting
So that's going
distracted.
back to art therapy. So that's going back
Mm,
to art therapy and using form to tell you, like letting form tell you how
yes,
you're feeling. Yeah.
absolutely. And I love that stuff. That is,
Okay. Let's talk about animals.
yeah.
No.
Well, when I was really unwell, and also when I was doing my TV watching period of my life era, I had a greyhound named Roy who I also got when I was really unwell, and it was like, I can't leave this earth and I need more anchors. So I'll get a dog because that's a big anchor to the world. I have to feed him. I have to take him for walks. I have to care for him. And so I did that, and it was a disaster at first because I was like, oh my God, what have I done? And I immediately ended up in hospital. Classic. But after the time of stressing out about it, um, he was the best thing ever, 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 ever. He was very cuddly, and greyhounds just want to sleep. They sleep probably like 22 hours a day.
Oh my gosh. They don't even look cuddly. They're all bones.
They're so cuddly. Oh my, they're
I'm
so
cuddly too, and I'm just
cuddly.
bones.
See? See?
I get
They just
it.
want to lie. Yeah, they just want to lie on
Kinda.
you. Yeah. And just
Maybe
like,
they have EDS.
oh,
Sorry.
maybe
Just
some
kidding.
do.
That's not
You never
bones.
know. Maybe
Anyway,
they also have connective tissue disorders. We don't know.
who knows?
Um,
The
but
animals
they're
can't tell us their somatic problems.
true,
Um,
true, true. But they're very big.
anyway,
They're very
yeah,
lazy.
Greyhound. You had a very cuddly Anchor.
Yeah. And that
Yeah.
patting him, I patted him. I would get home. If I'd gone out, I would just come home and watch TV and pat him. And he was glued to my side when we were at home.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the other thing, like the regulatory process of patting my dog was huge. And he passed when last year in February or the year before in February. Time is moving really quickly. Um, and I knew because he was old, and so I knew I couldn't survive without an animal. And I got a puppy before he died because I was like, if I don't have a dog to come home to,
It's gonna be hard.
it's gonna be bad. It's gonna be bad. So I got Digby, who is a standard poodle. So he's kind of like a fluffy version of Roy. Um, and he is definitely not as cuddly, but
One who's practically a pillow? Come
I
on.
know, literally,
Just
exactly. He's
kidding.
less cuddly than the bony one. Um, he, but he like absolutely again, like I recognize the regulation that happens, and he's a therapy dog, so he comes to work with me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and the power of having a dog in a therapy space, if you are someone who regulates through touch, or likes animals,
Mm-hmm.
it is huge to be able to pat a dog or have a dog or be able to focus on a dog in a new space, especially with a new person, a new therapist. I notice that the most. Um, he, it is because he is a living being. That's like he's an extra person in the space. So he is contributing, like his dynamics and his choices that he makes are changing this, like they're informing the session just as much as ours are. And that is in itself so helpful.
Yeah. I
And
love
yeah,
I
strange
love
and
the
great.
concept of co-regulation. I learned about that also in parenting workshops. Just sort of like your
Yes.
child will calm down faster if you're also calm, and if you can model, and yeah, so I love exploring co-regulation through touch. I also find that if I breathe really deeply, my son will fall asleep on me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that's also that concept. Um, and I love using
Yeah.
animals to do that because they have the vibrations also, like of the breathing.
Yeah. But even just to be present enough to go, if I slow my breathing down, my child, like this will support my child. To have the presence of mind, like I think we don't acknowledge enough the processes that caregivers go through in learning to be present for their child, and that's actually such a profound skill to be present enough to go, I need to make a choice and embody it. I need to breathe and slow down my breathing, a whole body process to support my child.
Yeah,
Ah, that's
that's
huge.
hard. That was hard. I have
Exactly.
two.
It's so
And my
hard.
first one did not get that treatment. I mean, I have cracked a tooth gritting so hard, trying
Yeah.
to keep my anger in. And I obviously really needed a way to let that out. And I wish that I had just, I don't know, tried hyperventilating. I don't know, breath work didn't work for me back then, you
No,
know? But I wasn't
no.
doing it right
Yes.
either, but I don't know if I could have been able to,
No, you
it's
probably
like
didn't
a
have
whole thing.
access. Yeah, it was not accessible to you at that time.
Definitely would have needed a tool, like some kind of they have breathing necklaces now. They have specific types of straws,
Yeah,
even like
yeah.
some kind of an oral like chew, like
Yeah.
stimming chew toy would have gone huge.
Mm. Well, so your nervous system was too highly dysregulated for just breathing to be the access point. You needed
Mm,
something higher, and that wasn't available because of how our systems work. It required you to be in a place where you could access a lower down regulator. So it was not
yeah,
accessible. It was not designed for your experience with your first child. It wasn't accessible. Yeah.
yeah. That was Yeah, I think that makes sense. Also, given the time period, there was some profound trauma that I was healing from at that time. So, giving myself all the grace and compassion, sort of
Well, that's the thing.
retroactively. I don't know. I did it in the moment too. I was just like, ah, shit.
Well, we have to, because like that is the reality that if you look at
Yeah.
the second kid, you had the capacity to do it, but the first you didn't. That's the same for everyone. Like, depending on what we're going through in our lives, we don't necessarily have that
Mm,
accessible space. And that's all of that, like working with dogs, working with
yeah.
really open, like being open to trying out more and more ridiculous regulation tools, because that will lead to like regulation faster. And the more we change our expectations around and assumptions around capacity, it
Mm,
shouldn't be assumed that breath work is enough for a parent. Um, we shouldn't have to make those assumptions.
I
We should
know,
be
and
able to
I
go,
shouldn't have to figure out what is an
yeah.
alternative treatment for me.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
Okay.
find all that stuff
Well,
fascinating.
yeah.
Yeah.
Let's keep talking about grounding stuff because the last time we were chatting, I was talking to you about coming up with some more low demand grounding practices.
Mhm.
Um, do homework? No. Specifically, we were talking about like anchoring into your space. So if you just want to talk to me about that and get us back to what is
Yeah.
anchoring in your space.
Mhm. I when I first learned about like grounding things, they were all very breath based, and that was a
Yeah,
trigger for me because I'd done
and
singing,
visuals.
and visuals. Yeah. So one, you have to be able to visualize, which not everyone can do.
Mhm.
And two, you have to have no trauma or anything related to breath, which is quite like so many things relate to breath.
Yeah.
So it wasn't accessible, and I just felt bad. Obviously, that's what we do.
Yeah. What's wrong
So
with me? This doesn't
yeah,
even work.
exactly. Why can't I do this simple thing? But actually, it's not very simple. So the ones I use now are low demand and low expectation. My favorite grounding techniques are just to notice your pace of breathing, not to change it, not to judge it, just to notice it and notice if it changes. Notice how you're feeling in your body, not to judge it. If you notice pain, notice it. Don't judge if you can. If you judge, don't judge your judging. And feeling your pressure of your body connected to the chair, what parts of your body connect. So, what parts of your body through gravity are pushing on something? So, I notice my legs are crossed because I have a funky chair. So, my feet are pressed against the stool, and then my butt is pressed against the chair, and my shins are pressed against my feet because my legs are crossed, and my hands are pressing into my legs. And once I've done that, my favorite last step to kind of come back into the space is noticing what's in my 1 meter bubble. And so I think of my bubble as what is reachable without me having to get up. And this you could think as of similar to like notice 5 things, like touch 5 things, see 5 things type thing, but it's just looking and turning your
Yeah.
body and looking and identifying. So identifying the texture, the sketchbook, the random paper, the mic, the book, the printer, the sheet. It's just naming all the things you can see in your bubble and thinking of that as your current present bubble, and then coming back to whatever, whether that's a computer screen, whether that's a person in session, um, and reestablishing that connection. That's my favorite.
Mm.
Yeah, using felt sense to ground and felt noticing, and then a visual slash oral listening, um, grounding.
Mhm.
Mm.
Yeah, I do a really similar mindfulness exercise where I go outside because that's my happy place. I love the smell of the air outside,
Mhm.
so many trees. Um, and I'll just take a breath and notice something. Maybe it's like how the sun feels on my face, or a bird, or squirrels, or
Mhm.
my tummy might grumble.
Yeah,
Um, and I'll just notice one thing per breath.
yeah. And that learning that brings attunement, like it brings you back into the present moment, and that
Hmm.
again, that actually is a hard thing to do. I don't think we as, a society realize that it actually now it's very difficult to choose to become present when a lot of stuff is going on. And so practicing that is essential. And I love the idea as well of practicing outside because everything is changing on such small, in small ways. So, yeah,
Thank
maybe it
you.
is then, yeah, looking around you and going, okay, maybe my outside isn't as nice right now. So I'm going to look inside.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm. And I also love the bubble thing too because going all the way back to sensory supports, when I first learned about supporting your like sensory like somatic experience, I learned that there's more than 5 senses, touch, taste,
Mm-hmm.
smell, scent, oh, nope, here, oh gosh, anyway, I forget what they
See,
are, but it doesn't
yeah,
matter. I'm smart.
there's the ones, we know them. Fine.
But there's like more things. There's the visual spatial awareness, like the actual awareness of things
Perspective.
in your space. And
Mm-hmm.
then the experience of your
Proprioceptive.
own movement. Yeah, and
Yeah.
I feel like I've been gaslit my whole life.
Yep.
Because they were like, no, there's only 5 senses. And I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
well, I'm having some extra sensory perception then.
Yeah, I'm feeling some things, and you're saying that doesn't exist, but I'm still
Yeah.
feeling things. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I think yes, we definitely don't honor slash, yeah, give enough credit to those because they are absolutely in use. We
Yeah.
can't see our proprioceptive sensory or our interoceptive sensory experience. We can't see those. So, of course, they don't
Let's,
exist.
yeah, let's
Whoa.
ignore that. Anyway. Okay, beautiful. So I'm glad we were just talking about some grounding experiences. I think that's super helpful. And now I want to ask you about your animated podcast, highly
Yes.
anticipated. It's called Pencil Dust.
Hmm.
Tell me
Yes.
more.
Pencil Dust is a podcast that my friend Sophie McPike and I started like 2 or 3 years ago. We recorded two
No big
episodes
deal.
then. We didn't know what we were doing. Well,
Hmm.
especially didn't. And so then we did nothing for 2 years. And then Sophie decided to animate the first episodes because Sophie is an illustrator animator primarily. That's her job. Well, it's her. career. Yes,
I'm
she's
just gonna
amazing.
animate this podcast
I
for shits
know,
and
I
giggles. Okay,
know.
girl.
Exactly. Yes, that's the correct response. Um, so then we were like, okay, maybe we should do it. So yeah, we've recorded 5 episodes and we've got a plan for 10. And we just released the 3rd episode this past weekend. So you can find us on YouTube at Pencil Dust Pod. And it's about art and being neurodivergent and being late diagnosed, really, because we're both late diagnosed. It is about growing up with, I guess, just non-mainstream ways of being and never having the language to know that that's what your experience was, and now having the language to know that. And being imperfect weirdos as well. Yeah. So, and it's animated because Sophie's amazing.
That is so fun. So
Yeah.
everyone should go check out Pencil Dust and see their animated episodes. By
Yep.
the time
Pencil
this
Dust
comes out,
Pod.
I'm sure you'll have more.
Hopefully. We're very slow. That's the other thing. Been working we've been working on it for a
Another
long
2
time.
years.
Yes, potentially. But yeah, we're moving a bit faster, but it's still very slow. I edit all the audio and then give it to Sophie, and then Sophie animates it. So it's
Amazing.
a long
It's
process.
good to have
But it's
very
good.
clearly defined roles. That helps reduce ambiguity. Neurodivergence
Mm-hmm.
in the workplace. Love that shit.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And before
Even
I
when
didn't
it's
know how
just
to
for
edit.
fun. Oh,
Yeah, exactly. I had no audio editing experience. So I was like, I need a more of a role. And so 2 years later, I could be like, okay, I will be able to do this audio part. So it feels better now. So
that
yeah,
is good. That is
it is
good. And I
good.
think the tools are better than they were 2 years ago, probably.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Um, all right. And so as we've been talking about pretty much this whole time, you are an art therapist and you do see clients.
Yes.
Um, right now, what kind of clients are you attracting? Like, what's your ideal client?
I mean, it's really interesting. I thought about that question when we had our little first meeting,
Mm-hmm.
and I think I work primarily with NDIS participants here in Australia. So that's people who have got funding for sessions.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm not necessarily working with people who are choosing art therapy to extend, I guess. A lot of our work is like doing art therapy to be in the world. And I don't necessarily work with many people who are really wanting to explore their creative capacity and experience outside of kind of learning to navigate the day to day.
Yeah.
And the ideal client is probably someone who wants to explore and is sort of wanting to participate, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited I know that art therapy and art as a creative model is so powerful in so many areas of our lives, and I'm obsessed with that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so, yeah, I'm interested in working with
But
anyone like
there's
that.
not enough like antidepressants in the world to cure the pain of capitalism. So I totally
Exactly.
relate to the day-to-day functioning woes.
Yeah.
Um, but I also know it's a totally different kind of like work. Like
Mm,
even all the exercises that you do, all the techniques that you're trying, the things you're talking about with those types of clients are going to be totally different because they're at a different capacity to access different types of tools like we were talking
mhm.
about. I think that's really beautiful that you're looking for novelty
Yeah, yeah. I
in
think
in the same line of work though. You're not like, "Ooh, let's change careers."
yeah. No,
You're like, "Oh, let's look
when
for a different."
Yeah, when we study art therapy, I study experientially. So we're all doing the activities and the like processes ourselves. And so you're working with people who are like just as like obsessed as you. And so then when you start working outside of that, you're like, oh, not everyone knows these and not everyone is obsessed with art therapy as I am. Okay. Um, so yeah, I guess like working to help people see their creative capacity um, is a really big one because I definitely was in a place of like, I am not creative. I love creativity, but I am not inherently creative.
Yeah,
And
same.
yeah, I think, nah, man, nah,
I can't draw either.
you can. It's a practice. It's literally practice. And then how do you find ways to practice without that self-judgment coming in? I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed with how do you build a practice when there is so much getting in the way of just doing the practice?
Yeah, because now
Yeah.
I'm sitting here thinking about the time I got a C in art in third grade and how that was a warning sign. Because what kind of 8-year-old gets a C in art? Like, it was very clear I just was unfocused and not doing my assignments.
Well, and the assignment was probably stupid in the first place because art
Yeah,
in school is also hard and crappy because you're like, draw in a
she was
box.
very into teaching form. She wanted you to like do all the techniques and stuff. And I was just
Mm,
like, I don't like that. Let me just do what
no.
I want to do.
Mm-hmm. Correct. Yeah, art in school
Anyway,
is
I love
not
that.
fun. Yeah.
Oh,
So yeah, helping people with
love
their
that.
creativity, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. And like you cooking can be a form of creativity too. I think that's what really
Yes.
started to turn the tide for me to be like, no, I am creative. I made
Mm-hmm.
I made strawberry lemonade sugar cookies,
That
just
is
one day because I wanted
delicious.
them.
I can't do that. That
They
sounds fancy. Oh,
No, it was so easy. All you had to do was add some lemon to the sugar cookie mix,
yeah.
some lemon extract, and then you make some strawberry frosting.
Yum.
So easy, actually.
So good. But
Mm-hmm.
that's creativity is in everything.
But I
Absolutely.
was really like, no, I'm not creative. No,
Yep.
don't ask me.
Yep.
I
Yep.
love it. Okay, wonderful. Lucy, it's been so good talking to you. I need to
Thank you. You
find
too.
my last question. It's a
Mm-hmm.
rando.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking of getting a new deck of cards. But for now, I'm using the We're Not Really Strangers Confidence Booster Edition.
Nice.
Although honestly, I think this one should be called the Existential Questions.
I love existential questions.
All right, all right, all right. What do we got? Good, good. Nope, this is a confidence one. So, when was the last time you spoke up for yourself or someone else? And how did that make you feel?
I have had a few recent experiences of that within the therapeutic space. Um, with myself, like speaking up for myself and then speaking up for others. They were in relation to dissonant experiences. So I would have to put myself in a place of dissonance with someone. And it was really hard, really hard. But
Dissonance, you just mean like a disagreement,
yeah,
maybe a
yeah, like,
confrontation.
mm-hmm, putting potential
Any
confrontation
kind of
in the space.
assertion. Oh
Yeah.
gosh, lest ye be a bitch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, exactly. Yeah, I had to rock the boat, I guess. And it was so body stressful, like the like literal threat that your body feels. However, both situations, the growth and movement shift worth every moment because there's just movement. There is opportunity for rupture and repair. There is opportunity to move forward and demonstrate valuing yourself or valuing someone else. Yeah, it was really, really difficult and really powerful. Tricky, but
That's
ultimately good.
great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Necessary
Mm-hmm.
discomfort.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, I hate this platitude. The comfort zone cliche.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yeah.
Growth zone.
Mm-hmm.
Growing pains is the words I was
Growing
thinking.
pains. Yep. Mm. Yep.
Anyway, it's okay. It's only 7 p.m. at night. I'm totally functioning well.
Yeah, it's fine. It's
It's
9:15
fine.
a.m. here, so I am ready to go.
You know what? I can do words.
You can do words.
Sometimes I do them better than others, but that's okay.
That's fair.
Um,
You're living your life.
Amazing. Okay, so Lucy, if people
Yes.
want to find you on the internet,
Mm-hmm.
where can they do that? If they want to get connected on socials?
Yes, they can do that on Instagram at embrace this space. So embrace.this.space. And then my website is the same. It's embracethisspace.com.au. I have like a waitlisty expression of interest form on my website. And I also have a Patreon called Embrace Your Space, where I run body doubling sessions, a slow Sunday session, and I'm also uploading self-reflective art therapy videos for you to do yourself in your own space at your own time. So yeah, that's where you
That's
can
really
find me.
beautiful. I
Thanks.
love the like privateness of some of those offerings. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for
Okay.
having me. This has been lovely.
Yes. I any friend of Abby's is like family to me. I said that before. So if anybody else is a fan of Abby,
Mm-hmm.
we can chat about it because
Exactly. Do it.
yeah, we all need to add some fodder for our positivity folder.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I love it.
I love doing that for other people, you know?
Yeah.
Um,
We
yeah,
don't think about the
wonderful.
power of that necessarily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know I've been
Amazing.
saying this a lot, but um I say it all the time, but like thank you for being here. Like thank you for still being here.
Thanks. You too.
I felt needed. I like feeling
Yeah,
needed. So I'm
we
gonna keep
do.
inserting myself into places where people need me. Amazing. I'm gonna stop the
Love it.
recording now. Amazing.
Fabulous.
Thanks for being here. If you want to connect with the Neurodivergent Report, you can find us at ND Report Pod on Instagram, Threads, TikTok, YouTube, Blue Sky, Substack, etc. If you're looking to support the show, the best thing you can do is subscribe and leave us a 5-star review. Please do that.
And hey, if you want to check out more about us, visit our website at ndreportpod.com. And you can also go there if you want to be a guest contributor on the show.
Until next time, be well, do good.
Bye.